Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and this is Lauren's Life Evolution. Today I wanted to do for you my August reading wrap up. I read 9 books this month and I think that's pretty good considering some of the ones that I read. So let's just jump right into which ones I have read. The first one is the last prequel to the Left Behind series, and this is called The Rapture. This book basically parallels the first book in the series, Left Behind, as far as the timeline, but it basically tells the stories of other characters that you might not know or don't really know at that point in the series. For example, people that were raptured. So you kind of get a glimpse of what they experienced and what their experience of heaven is like, and different other characters that you meet later on in the series also. So this was definitely interesting to see different characters' points of view that you learn about later on in the series, or yeah, so I do recommend this. And of course, I read the very last book in the Left Behind series, Kingdom Come. This is, I'll just read the synopsis for you because it'll better explain it. It says, "Not all is well in Utopia. Though Jesus has established his 1,000-year reign on earth, people are born every day who still must choose to make him their savior, and not all do. Those who have returned from heaven with Christ never age. Believers who survive the tribulation never die, but the ravages of time do affect them. The saints of the ages, heroes from the Bible, help rule. While those who choose not to trust Christ are accursed and die young, and young in this post-tribulation is 100 years old, devotees of the other light, or Lucifer, conspire to populate the end of the millennial kingdom with a massive army. When Satan is loosed for a time to once again tempt the nations, he leads this force to the ultimate conflict of good versus evil, and the result ushers in the new heaven and the new earth." So basically tells the very end of the story of all the characters that we meet. And again, this is definitely an interesting point of view of what happens after the tribulation and during the 1,000-year reign of Jesus before the new heaven and new earth. So the Left Behind series total, that completes the series. It's a 16-book series total, which includes the 3 prequels. I definitely highly recommend it. Sorry, my books are falling over here. It is definitely going to be a main staple in my library, permanent staple. I don't think I'll ever get rid of these books, especially if you're a Christian. It's definitely interesting to see fictionally what can happen as far as the process of the book of Revelation in the Bible. So definitely a great series. Highly, highly recommend. I also got to read some Agatha Christie books. One was Midsummer Mysteries. So these are basically some short story mysteries written by Agatha Christie that revolve around the summertime, summer season things. So this was really nice. This is nice short read mysteries. And also did read Evil Under the Sun by Agatha Christie. This is basically about a murder at a resort. And of course, Sir Hercule Poirot, who doesn't love Sir Hercule Poirot? Of course, I'm probably not pronouncing it all correctly, but how he solves the mystery at this resort that this takes place. Oh my goodness, my books are falling. 1, 2, and 3. But yep, this is a good one. I recommend this one. I gave it about 4 stars. And I gave this probably about 3.5 stars. But there's definitely some interesting stories in this one too. I also read one of my favorite historical fiction authors, Kristen Hanna. And this is her book, Summer Island. So let me read the synopsis to you also. Years ago, Nora Bridge walked out on her marriage and left her daughters behind. She has since become a celebrity radio talk show host and newspaper columnist beloved for her moral advice. Her youngest daughter, Ruby, is a struggling comedian who uses her famous mother as fuel for her bitter, cynical humor. When the tabloids unearth a scandal in Nora's past, her career implodes and Ruby gets her big break. She is offered a fortune to write an unflattering tell-all article about her mother. Under false pretenses, Ruby returns home to talk to the woman she hadn't spoken to for almost a decade. Home, to the house on Summer Island where Ruby grew up, a place filled with childhood memories of love and joy and belonging. There, as Ruby is reunited with old friends, what began as an expose evolves into an exploration of her family's troubled past. In picking apart her mother's life, Ruby has no choice but to examine her own. As the magazine deadline draws near and Ruby finishes the story that has begun to feel like an act of brutal betrayal, she is forced to make a choice not about the past but about the future. The truth is not as simple as she once imagined. So, I love all of Kristen Hanna's books, and this was definitely another good one. This was like a 4.5 star for me. It goes to prove, as you find out towards the end, that not all things are as you think they are once you learn the truth from all parties involved. So you learn to not only take one person's side of the story, but listen to all sides of the story, and then the real and whole truth will be revealed, and sometimes nothing is actually what it seems or what it's like. So this was a really good book. I do recommend this one also. Now, since the retellings of Greek mythology seem to be popular at the moment, and I want to start diving into those, I wanted to go OG and read the original Greek mythology, the Iliad and the Odyssey. So that's what I did. I read both the Iliad and the Odyssey, and these were both translated by Emily Wilson. Look at these big chunkers. Well, this is a chunker. Of course, not as chunky as some of the other books that are out there, right? But still, even so, these translations by Emily Wilson are amazing. They're really great translations. She tried to stay true to the Greek through the American language. It's kind of hard to explain. You kind of have to read the beginning or the author's notes in the beginning, but she did a fabulous job, and it's really easy to read, and these were great. By the way, who's ever actually read the Iliad and the Odyssey? I know some of us, or a lot of us, have read the Odyssey at least in high school or maybe college. I'm pretty sure I did at that point, but I don't remember reading the Iliad, because let me tell you something. The battle scenes in the Iliad are pretty gruesome, and I never realized how gruesome they were. So, but these two together, I definitely highly recommend reading the translation by Emily Wilson. But these were a good read. These are definitely staying perma books in my library. Okay. All right. I also did decide to read a new to me author. This was a new book maybe a couple months ago, Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan. He's the same author that wrote Crazy Rich Asians. I mean, I guess it was a good story, but for me, it wasn't really my cup of tea. I didn't enjoy it that much, but people, I guess, that like to read about millionaires or billionaires or whatever have you, this might be a good one to read. I did definitely like the ending, or how things turned out, or the twist, so to speak, at the ending. That was pretty good, but not something I would read again or pick up again. This just wasn't into my taste. So, but it was nice to read it to, learn more about myself and my reading taste, but not for me. And last but not least, I did sneak in one of my first spooky stories for the fall/spooky season, and you can't really tell what this is, but it's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. There's a whole bunch of other stories in here. This is my Easton Press version, but I basically snuck this in on the last day of August. It was a short read. of course, a classic. You can't go wrong with a classic, especially to jump off spooky season, right? So that was that one. So yeah, thanks for watching and sticking around. I tend to do these things for fun, so if you want to subscribe, feel free to do so, but there's absolutely no obligation. And I'll see you whenever I see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.